Hey guys, so this is bringing you another video. Now, welcome to another patch note breakdown. This is for 10.16, and I'm going to try and do my best to get this video out as the second video tonight, because obviously that means patch day is tomorrow, and you watch this video, you go to sleep, you wake up, and boom, all the changes now you'll be playing within the game. So if you appreciate that, because obviously it's a bit of a rush to get it all done, do throw a like on the video. It does help out a little bit. But anyway, let's have a little bit of a looky look. What's going to be happening? Worth noting here, the dev team is actually going to be taking a bit of time off. So Riot as a company, I'm sure not the whole company, but is actually on the 10th of August having that week off working. Now, I'm pretty sure every department is basically having time off. Most likely, apart from emergency server operations people. I'm actually recording this on a day that League of Legends died. Like, I was speaking to Rioters on stream about what the hell's going on, but every server died. I think it was something to do with account or authentication and stuff. So those servers went down, and I was speaking to a Rioter who was like, well, those engineers would have been rung at 5 a.m., wake up quick, the game's dead, then wake up fast, get ready, go into the office or whatever and fix whatever the problem was. It took them a couple of hours. So I'm sure they will still be on call if there was to be a problem. But yeah, so on the 10th of August, for that whole week, Riot is having that off, which I don't blame them. It's always good to have a bit of time off. So we've got this, which I will quickly open up as a bigger file for everybody, just so we all can look through. This is the patch overview, so we get to see what is buffed, what is nerfed, and all that jazz. So here we go. I don't need to be on camera for this bit. So we have a lot of changes by the looks of it. So nerfs: Ashe, Bard, Karma, Karthus, Kha'Zix, Nautilus, Nocturne, Sett, Syndra, and Volibear. So yes, once again, Kassadin, Echo, Silas have obviously escaped the nerfs. Buffs, however, and again, some of these are a little bit questionable. Akali, Evelynn. Evelynn is a champion that I did make a Challenger Spectator of recently, saying she's incredibly strong. Fiora, still a strong top lane champion. Hecarim doesn't seem weak. JAX doesn't seem weak. Jhin, Jinx, Lucian, Misfortune, Morgana, Nico, Rakan, Skarner, Tristana, Veigar, Yasuo, and Zigg. So a lot of buffs. We've also got, obviously, new incoming to this patch. The actual new champion, Yone, is coming. And we have, obviously, the remaining Spirit Blossom skins as well. No Prestige skin in this patch because obviously it was Prestige Teemo. And then you have the system change of Nimbus Cloak that they are changing something about the rune itself. Obviously, you can look at the color coding of why champions are being nerfed. You can see most of these nerfs are because of pro play. A couple, Karthus has got elite play in there as well as skilled. Kha'Zix is a skilled play nerf. And Volibear, you can see, is, my eyes, again, I am colorblind, but it looks to be average and pro play that is forcing the Volibear nerfs. But there we go. So we're going to get into it and hopefully dive into some of these. I'd say especially buffs seem a little bit weird. But yeah. So Split 3 begins of League of Legends. Which doesn't really change anything. I actually had high hopes for the split system, but it doesn't really do anything. So there's that. We got Yone, the new champion, obviously coming out to live servers. We got Akali buffs, I believe these were. So the Q base damage has been increased and the E damage type changed. So the Q has gone up only by 5 damage per rank, not a big deal. But the Shuriken, it used to do, sorry, the E flip, the Shuriken flip, used to do physical damage, now does magic damage. And if I'm not mistaken, Akali's definitely to mid to late game have more AP than AD. So this is overall, I would say, a buff. But obviously that does mean magic resist will be more effective versus Akali, because now more of her damage will be magic damage than physical or even split damage. So interesting, I guess. I think Akali is still a very oppressive champion in some degrees. If you're against a good Akali in high rating, it's hard to even go even with them, let alone beat them, but there's that, I suppose. Ashe, Q bonus attack and damage decreased later, so they're just doing a bit of a nerf. So her late game is being nerfed heavily, by the way. It used to be a 60% attack speed nerf at rank 5, it's now 40%. 20%, that's quite a considerable nerf to her late game. Bard, Health has gone down by 15 in early game, and the maximum heal has also been nerfed. So just general bard nerfs. He does seem to be one of the top tier AD carries at the moment, so I don't think that's too... supports at the moment. I don't think that's too bad. This is interesting to me. So Evelynn, what are they doing? Q cooldown decreased. Hitting a monster no longer refunds 50% of the cooldown. Oh, okay. So it's kind of a bit of a balance here. It's helping lane Evelynn, which isn't really a thing, but it just helps her out in combat more in general, which I think is okay. So it used to be an 8-second cooldown. It's now a 4-second cooldown, so half, but they basically are just getting rid of the jungle aspect of half cooldown, so that just makes Evelynn stronger in team fights, in skirmishes, and if someone ever wanted to play lane Evelynn, well, that is a buff to lane Evelynn. Again, don't really think it's a thing, but there we go. Fiora, Q cooldown decreased, on-hit cooldown reduction decreased also. So the cooldown of her Q has gone down by 3 seconds in early game, 2 seconds in late game. Whoa. And the enemy hit cooldown reduction as well used to be 60% if you hit the enemy with your Q, I'm guessing with the passive. I can't fully remember, but it's now 50% instead. So yeah, small nerf to the enemy cooldown reduction, but overall a bigger buff to letting it be on cooldown more often. That's quite big. Wow, I'm surprised, if I'm honest. Interesting. Hecarim, E bonus movement speed increased over time. So similar, well, actually, it's kind of opposite to what they did with Ghost. Ghost used to be a ramp-up spell. You now get the movement speed instantly with Ghost, and that now is opposite for Hecarim. So the movement speed used to be 25 to 75% bonus movement speed over the first 3 seconds, with the 4th second at maximum value. And then it's now 25% at rank 1 in early game, and it goes up to 100% bonus movement speed over 3 seconds, with the final 4th second, the whole second, being at 100% movement speed at max rank, I presume. That's very fast, so look out for Hecarim, because he's not a weak champion right now. JAX, again, a controversial champion to buff, considering a lot of people don't love when JAX is meta, because he's very boring. He's not an exciting champion to play against, even play as, and for pro play, he's a quite stale champion. Again, not meaning to offend. If you like JAX, go for it. But he's, in essence, a hitty champion. That's what he does. There's nothing flashy about JAX. So the cooldown of his E is going down by 2 seconds in early game. That's big. Reminding people, he's supposed to be a mid to late game hyper carry type champion, so buffing his early game, enabling him to have more survivability in early game with his E, just gets him an easier way to becoming an absolute monster. That's a bit scary, if I'm honest. Jhin, passive final shot, critical damage against structures increased. So just helping him hit towers and all that stuff more, which that's always a nice thing, but it's not going to help his, trades or anything. So I think it's an okay buff. Jinx bonus, R bonus damage now uncapped. Whoa, really? So bonus damage used to be a 375 damage against the main target against champions. So you only could do, the 375. It's now uncapped. That could do a considerable amount of more damage for Jinx. That's scary. Karma, Q cost flat. Now, by the way, I'm going quite quick because we have a lot to go through. Karma, Q cost now flat. Cooldown increased, so it is a nerf to her early game mana cost, a buff slightly to her late game mana cost. Nerf to her, straight away nerf to her Q. So it used to be a 7-second cooldown, down to a 5-second cooldown at max rank. It's now a 9-second cooldown at rank 1, 7-second cooldown at rank 5. So a 2-second nerf overall for Karma Q. Less poke for lane pressure. Karthus, who they recently buffed, that was questionable, reminding people. Damage ratio has gone down. That seems to be the exact buff that he had. So they're still keeping the mana change that they gave to his E as a buff, but they're just taking away the extra ability power ratio that they gave. Again, it wasn't much, but Karthus is a champion that can hit 1,000 ability power, so any buff to his Q is going to be considerable. So they are just reverting what they did before, which I agree with. I made video titles saying play Karthus before he's nerfed. There's a reason for that. Kha'Zix, Q isolation target bonus damage decreased, so a nerf. The isolation damage used to do 120% bonus damage. It's now doing 110, so still considerable, but a little bit of a nerf there, which I don't think is a bad thing. You know, getting one shot, let's be honest, is never exactly a fun thing, so that just prevents that a little bit. Lucian, Q damage increased, our total shots fire increased. So Lucian is struggling at the moment. He's a lane bully that sometimes can't lane bully, and he falls off comparing to other AD carries. So what are they doing with him? They're giving him a little bit more damage in the early game and in general with his Q, but nothing insane. And then his ultimate total fired shots is going by 2 in rank 1, by 4, and then 4 extra shots at max rank. So extra bullets in his gun with his ultimate. So if you hit more of the ultimate, you're doing more damage in general. So that is a buff. Misfortune, base attack damage increased, so they're giving her a 2 attack damage buff in early game. That will help to last hitting, I guess, more than anything else. Not really an insane buff, though. Morgana, Q cooldown decreased, so a buff to Morgana Q. It used to be 11-second flat cooldown. It's now a 10-second flat, so that is, you know, over the course of a game, your Q will be on, you know, for every, what would that be? For every... Well, now every 11 or 10 Qs you land, you now get a free one, I guess, technically. Nautilus, W shield decrease, so a little bit of a nerf to his tankiness. So a 15 shield nerf in early game. And a same 15 nerf overall in rank 5 as well. That's not bad. You know, I do think that is more of a pro bot lanes. I don't see much Nautilus support in solo queue myself, but there's that. Nico, Q damage increased, Bloom damage increased as well, so overall buffs. So the damage used to do 80 at rank 1, 250 at rank 5. It's a 10 damage buff. Nothing crazy. But again, it adds up a little bit, I guess. And then the Bloom damage, when you hit a champion or you lost it a minion, it does the extra bit of damage with Nico's Q. That has gone up by 5. So if you manage to hit a champion, you'll be doing 15 extra damage, basically. Which, you know, it's okay, but it's not mind-boggling crazy. Oh my god, Nico's now overpowered. Nocturne. What are they doing here? So, obviously, Nocturne, he's a weird champion. Some people are playing him mid. I have seen some people play him top. And he's got that kind of annoying playstyle, especially in mid lane, of I push wave, never interact with the enemy mid laner. I push so fast, and then I roam, the same as Nunu mid. It's a really boring playstyle to play against, very uninteractive. Just kind of boring, I think, for the game as a whole. So maybe they'll get rid of that, but yeah, which they are doing. So the cooldown of his passive, which is the AoE, that's how we can push the wave so quick. They are nerfing that. So it used to be a 10-second cooldown. It's now 14. That's a considerable nerf. And also the on-hit cooldown refund. Basic attacks against enemy champions and monsters reduce its cooldown by 3 seconds. It used to be 2. So that's like a slight buff if you're actually actively fighting champions and monsters, but that won't help you if you're just hitting mid-lane minions. So they're trying to deter that playstyle, which... We'll see if they do that, but, you know, it's a weird situation. Rakan, our bonus movement speed increased, so, you know, just to help him out a little bit. You know, he's okay. I don't see terrible Rakan performances, but, you know, why not? So it used to be a 50% bonus movement speed. It's now 75, so that will help out the old bird. Sett. So some nerfs, I think, coming to Sett. The only thing that I was wanting, if you're going to nerf Sett, would be his W. The actual champion is very slow, very Juggernaut-like, so he's actually not that hard to beat. If you're good with mobility and knowing, kind of predicting his W, it's not too difficult. But, you know, the true damage is a bit annoying. So they are putting the base damage down of his W a little bit. 20 in late game is, you know, considerable a bit. By the way, that number is jumping around like crazy up here. Does anybody else? Like, Jesus. Facebreaker as well, the E... has gone a little nerf as well in his mid to late game. So yeah, late game damage, they are nerfing heavily for Sett, but obviously in Sett, he's more relies, I'd say, on his auto attack damage with Triforce and Blade the Ruined King rather than his E damage, let's say, in late game. So I think he'll still be fine. So Sett players will probably continue to play. Skarner, a champion that is near enough forgotten, at least here on HuzzyGames. I've never made a video on Skarner, and I probably never will unless he gets some cool rework that makes me interested in him. just literally have no interest in this champion at all. So they're giving him better attack damage on his Q ratio, and the mana cost has also gone down. I don't exactly see that doing much. Like, Skarners, let's be honest, don't really build AD. They build tank because they have to, because he's like legitimately the running champion that has to get to people to sting them and ult them and everything. So if you're building AD, you're just going to get one shot when you're running to people. So I don't really see that doing literally anything, personally. Q for Syndra, damage has been decreased later, and it's been decreased by 20 in late game. So that's, again, a little bit of a nerf, but nothing insane, because obviously the base damage of ability is more for early game. You've got AP scaling and stuff for your mid to late game. Tristana, her E now deals 1% increased damage per 3% critical strike chance. Whoa, really? That's strong. Huh. Explosive charge now deals, what we just said, up to 33% increased damage. Okay, so it is capped a little bit. But yeah, so 33%. So when she gets like her crit build, which is the normal Tristana build, she's going to be doing an extra 33.3% recurring damage with her E. That's not bad. And I actually don't think Tristana's that weak at the moment either, if I'm completely honest. But okay. Veigar. Base magic resist increase, so just giving him a more survivability in early game. 2 extra magic resist helps a little bit, I guess. Volibear, so his Q, bonus movement speed has gone down quite considerably, actually. 5% in early game, 9%. 9% nerf in late game on rank 5, but he still gets the double bonus movement speed when he's running to a visible enemy champion. So before, it used to be a 35% buff when he pressed Q and running to an enemy champion. That used to be a 70% movement speed buff. That's why he was so quick running at enemy champions. Now it will be a 52% movement speed bonus when he's running towards enemy visible champions. So, you know, it's a nerf for sure, but he's still going to be quick. Yasuo, weird to see Yasuo buffs, if I'm honest, but yeah. Magic resist buff has been gone up by a little bit, and the R damage has also been buffed for late game. Not early game, but a 50 damage buff at rank 2, a 100 damage buff in rank 3, and it does 500 base damage. It's not bad, is it? Like, if he hits 3 people with his ultimate, Yasuo is in fact doing 1,500 base damage without any scaling with just his ultimate. Does a lot of damage. Ziggs, which again, I would say that's a bit questionable because I don't think Yasuo's weak. Zigg's passive bonus damage ratio now flat. Maximum damage to structures increase. So the passive, his bonus auto attack that he gets every now and then, it used to scale up to 0.5 ability power. It now is flat 0.5 ability power. So a buff, I guess, to his early game until, it flattened out anyway. And then the structure damage, it used to do, God, that's big. Ziggs used to do a bonus 2 times ability power on top of his passive. So if he has 500 ability power, his passive would do 1,000 damage in an auto attack to a tower. It's now doing 2.5 times his ability power. So it would be, 1,250 damage to a tower if you had 500 ability power. And let's be honest, Ziggs can get more than that. That's quite scary. Runes, so this is a change they're making. Nimbus Cloak is, literally everybody takes it. It's too good. So they are now nerfing it a bit. So the bonus movement speed you used to get when you used to summon a spell, you smited somebody, you got Nimbus Cloak active. It used to be 15, 25, 35% bonus movement speed after using the summoner spell. It's now 15, 20, 30. So it's a 5% movement speed buff. It still is going to be the thing that you probably take. Clash mode is beginning on for Ionia Clash, apparently. We've got Nexus Blitz changes. We've got bug fixes again, is worth looking at. So if you're... that's bug fixes for actually Nexus Blitz. These ones, so they're fixing some League client things. So again, this is where you should, if you're a Shaco player, Fiddle player, Shen, Darius, so I should probably pay attention to these. Sejuani, look through the bug list, and if you see a champion you actively play, you should pay attention to those. Upcoming skins, so all the new Spirit Blossom ones, and there we go. I don't know if there's any new chromas that we're going to be getting as League partners, but there we go. That is the patch. Quite a lot, actually. I would say some questionable things here or there. And by the way, my LOL chat is dying again, so it seems the servers might be dying once again. Anyway, some questionable things. I think like Fiora, JAX don't need buffs. Yasuo doesn't need buffs. I don't think Akali need buff. So there are some things in here that I'm a bit confused about. But let me know what you guys think. I'll be interested to know. Do you agree, disagree with all the changes? Are there any champions that are missing? I can name probably a couple, from nerfs at least. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the patch note breakdown. As I said, I'm going to try and get this out as the second video today. So if you appreciate that, throw a like on the video. Let me know what you think about it all down below. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.